My name is Babs Ludikhuize. I chose the Air Force because they run for 1.5 miles and everybody else runs a whole lot more than that. So when the truck driver would get in and leave for a run, I'd be in there ready to learn. I figured they couldn't fire me, so I learned to drive tractor trailer for the Air Force. I had thought, like most people, when they go in at 18, they figure they can retire at 38. But it didn't quite work out that way. After having a couple different instances of military sexual trauma, I got out. I just kind of floated around. I didn't have one particular job. I was just kind of maybe lost. I went out to Riverside Raceway for a race one weekend, and I happened to meet this gentleman, and I was just in love. He left for the next racetrack, and I sold everything I had, and I got drunk, and I got on an airplane, and I flew to North Carolina, and that's where I lived for the next 3 years. I was running on the NASCAR circuit with them. It was pretty wild until I had a child, and then it was like I had to think of my child first. I decided I'd had enough, and I started over in California again with my daughter. I went over to the VA and applied for service, and I got it, and that was a lifesaver. And that just rolled into being a peer support specialist, and I loved it. There was some family issues that went on. My ex-husband, he wanted to protect his boys more than he wanted me to protect my daughters. And I felt like a failure as a mother because I couldn't go up against him. So I ended up walking out the front door one day. And that was the beginning of my addiction. That was the beginning of moving around and being homeless. I got lost in that world for a while.
You're about the weight of some 12-year-old.
You know what? Somebody's gonna fall and break the neck.
Well, my mom had, I'll start, I guess, for you.
Come up with stuff quicker.
My mom has always had, like, as far as I remember, like mental health. Mom was kind of in and out of our lives because she was in like psych wards, and
even though she would go into like a psych ward or something like that, like it seemed like she was doing it just to get a break from all of us. Yeah, she's a good grandma, but like being a mom, I think is just a whole nother level that she's, you know, had a struggle with.
I love you.
she's experienced homelessness. Like she's had to go through a lot of hardships, self-made, but I think she's starting to see above the water.
Hi! How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hi, how's it going?
I first met Babs when she moved into this building, which U.S.VETS is the lead service provider for. We realized that we had a lot in common, both being veteran peers, both having the experience of being women veterans and really being in the minority. It's really important to pay attention and to empower the women that come into the community to feel like this is really their home. Recently, we held a groundbreaking event for buildings 157 and 210, both, of course, with U.S.VETS providing the services within the buildings.
The building they have that they're opening for women, I think that's going to be the first one that's ever been in existence. They've had that groundbreaking ceremony. I even got a gold shovel to shovel the dirt out and a hard hat. It was pretty exciting.
Babs, I think, has really blossomed being here. She's been very happy to come into this community, but also, of course, being civically minded and being a trained peer support can see areas for improvement, which is really important because we need that community feedback to be able to honor our commitment of serving veterans, of empowering veterans.
I think that's my best memories of her as her long sober period was she was a peer support specialist. She loved it and she thrived in it. Oh, she just went down the slide. Oh, Mima.
I always wanted to be there for my kids when they had their children.
So you guys used to come here all the time?
Now with the racing, last weekend was like there's a renewed feeling of getting out in the fresh air and listening to the cars go boom. And being able to smell the gas and the rubber. Everybody was happy that day, you know? I want to be with my grandkids. I mean, as much as they have me wrapped around their fingers, I wouldn't want to miss that. It really gave me a reason to stay clean.
I think it does give her hope, the grandbabies, and I like seeing that in her.
I don't know, again, it kind of just like puts like a Band-Aid on everything to kind of just like see her in like a different light. And it kind of makes you feel like hopeful that like maybe she'll just continue on the right path.
I want to be the person that leads my family. Mima means everything. That means that my grandkids are communicating with me, and that's what I want to be able to do, is communicate with them and be there if they need to talk and try and help them from making a lot of the mistakes I made. That's what Mimas are supposed to do.
I feel like U.S.VETS has been a good thing for her, and I feel like if it keeps going and she keeps involved, I feel like U.S.VETS could be something that could help her like stay on the right track and start to help people.
U.S.VETS has just been there. They're going above and beyond to help us seniors survive and be happy. Not just survive, but be happy.